in the unit 2. Two parts are theoretical parts and remaining two parts are practical parts. Out of that four part, we have started the first part. Okay, again I repeat these parts. I have divided this entire unit into four parts for a better understanding purpose only. In syllabus, all the topics, all the points having equivalent weightage. Okay, there is no any variation or there is no any classification in syllabus that this is one, two, three, four. So it's a unit 2 only. But for the better understanding and for easy to remembering, I have divided this entire unit into four parts. So we have started the discussion about the first part of financing decision, unit number 2, and that first part is all about financing decision. And in a financing decision, the first one is all about sources of finance. Sources of finance. We have discussed the brief about the sources of finance in the last session. Okay, there are main four sources: equity shares, preference shares, debt capital, and internal sources. In the last session, we have started the discussion about the first one, equity share capital. Equity share capital is owners' capital. Equity shareholders are the owners of the company. They get the dividend. They are bearing the risk, and the liabilities is limited to number of shares. And then after we have discussed the types of capital: authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed, unsubscribed, and paid up capital. And then after we have discussed the value of share: par value, issue value, book value, and market value. Par value is also known as face value. And then after we have discussed the rights of equity shareholders. There are four rights. Number one is a right to income. Okay, income means right to dividend, equity dividend, right to control, right of voting, and right of electing the board of directors. Pre-emptive right. Okay, a right for right shares or right for the purchasing of additional shares whenever company go for the additional issue of shares. And last one, right in a liquidation. Here, whenever the company goes to shut down the business, at that time, the equity shareholders have a last chance to get the money, and even no surplus, it means equity shareholders get a zero amount. I think so. Up to this, we have discussed in the last class. I'm right. Okay. Then after shortly, we have discussed the advantages of equity capital. We have discussed this one. Okay. First advantage is no compulsion to pay dividend. Okay. Second, no maturity date, no obligation for buyback, great ability to get debt finance, and dividend is tax free, tax exempted. And last one, disadvantages of equity capital: dilute the control of the company. The equity cost or cost of equity is very high. Equity dividend is paid out of profit, and the issue cost of equity shares is generally higher than the other securities. We have understand the last line with the example of credit card. Up to this, I have discussed. Okay, now open your book and write down the next title, the next source of finance, that is preference capital. From this point, our discussion is pending. Am I right? यहाँ से हमारा डिस्कशन बाकी था. So write down the title, preference capital. Done. It's a combination of equity and debt capital. Can you tell me why this share capital is known as a preference capital? Hello everyone. Are you there? Mitali, Yash, Jumil, Harsh. याज्ञिक, जय, ध्रुवी, मीत, दोनों मीत, वैभव, विधि, श्रुति, श्रेया. Do you know why this share capital is known as a preference capital? Okay, let me explain. There are two reasons, or there are two basic elements. That's why this share capital is known as a preference capital. Number one, okay, when company have a profit and when company is going for a distribution of dividend, preference shareholders have a first preference for a dividend. Whenever there is a profit, it means while company is going for a distribution of dividend, at that time, in the case of profit, they have a preference to get the first dividend. Who? Preference shareholders. And number two, in the worst case, suppose company is suffering the losses and now board of directors has decided from the next month we are going to shut down the entire business. The company is going for a liquidation, okay, closing the businesses. So again, in that circumstances, in that condition, at the time of liquidation, preference shareholders again have a first preference for a repayment of their money. If I invested 20,000 rupees in XYZ company, now company is going for closing their business, as a preference share, I have a first right beyond the or above the equity shareholders. First, company pay my 20,000 rupees. Then after, if surplus remain, then it is goes to the equity shareholders or remaining shares. So, preference shareholders have a preference for a dividend and a preference for a repayment of money at a time of liquidation. That's why this type of share capital is known as a preference capital. A preference means preference in terms of dividend and in terms of repayment of money. Are we clear about the concept? Meaning? Now, the most important part from this topic, types of preference share. Total we have 8 types of preference shares. Okay, let me explain quickly one by one. A cumulative preference share. Just you understand the word. Cumulative means हेलो cumulative वर्ड का मतलब क्या होता है क्विकली गाइस इतना भी पता नहीं है उसका मतलब होता है इकट्ठा करना राइट एक्युमुलेटेड करना इकट्ठा करना so here cumulative preference share means if there is a profit and company distribute the dividend for a current year, then there is no issue. But if company is not going to declare the dividend for the current year, this dividend will accumulate it for the next year. In the next year, company need to pay the same dividend. Suppose XYZ company has declared the 10% dividend in the last year. Okay, they have paid the last year 10% dividend, and for the current year 2020 or sorry 2020 and 2021. Okay, for the current year, company has not declared the dividend. But when company go for the declaration of dividend in 2021 and 2022, at that time company need to pay a 10% dividend for the previous year because in the previous year company has not paid and 10% for the current year. So in the next year company need to pay a 20% dividend instead of 10% because 10% for the previous year. It means for how many years company is not going the declaration of dividend, that all the dividend will be accumulated for the next year. If company not declare the dividend for next 5 years, that dividend will accumulate for the next 5 years, and in the next year when the 6th year come, the company pay the all the dividends of the entire 6 years. Are we clear about the concept? Every year, dividend will be accumulated if the company not declare the dividend. If declare the dividend, then there is no issue. Hello? Say yes or no? Everyone, what about others? Okay, so this is called as a cumulative preferences. Now reverse to that, non-cumulative preferences. If there is a dividend, then distribute the dividend. If there is no dividend, no regret. Raat gayi, baat gayi. Okay. The second type of preference capital means non-cumulative preferences. If company is not declaring the dividend, this dividend will not be accumulated for the next years, for the future years. Number three, participating preferences. Here, participating preferences means these types of share capital or shareholders have a right to participate in the meetings and decision-making process of the company. If they have a right, they call as a participative preferences. If they does not right to participate in the management process or in the meetings of the company, they call as a non-participative preferences. Are we clear about the second type? Participative and non-participative. If they have a right to participate in the meetings, then it is called as a participant. If they does not have right, then it is called as a non-participant. Next one is redeemable and irredeemable. Redeemable means that particular shares will be buyback by the company itself after a number of years. Suppose company has issued that 5% 5% preferences for next 10 years. So after the completion of 10 years, company itself buyback that particular preferences. So it is called as a redeemable preference share. So redeemable preference shares means a shares issued by the company for a particular period. After completion of that particular period, the shares will purchase or buyback by the company itself. And irredeemable refers to that once it is issued, is issued for the long period. It is issued for the lifetime, like as equity shares. It's called as irredeemable when there is no provision of buyback. And last one, convertible and non-convertible preference shares. Here, convertible means conversion of preference shares into equity shares. Suppose company has issued a 5% convertible shares for next 5 years. It means after completion of 5 years, this preference shares will be converted in a equity shares. This is called as a convertible preference shares. It means they have a right to convert their shares in a equity shares. And non-convertible means once it is issued, it is a lifetime preference shares. There is no any provision about the conversion of preference shares into the equity shares. Huh. Can it be converted into case? It's not about the preference shares or it is not about the other types of shares. All the types of shares can be converted in a case when you sold it in the market, because all the shares are tradable in the market, whether it is equity or whether it is preference. All the shares are traded in the market. Whenever you require money or you want to convert your amount in a case, just you need to sell out your shares. Are you clear, beta? But in type of in convertible preferences, they have only right that these preferences will be converted in equity shares only. Okay, the provision of Companies Act say that this convertible preferences means these preferences will be converted in equity shares. So again, I repeat quickly: cumulative means in which the dividend of every year will be cumulative. Non-cumulative means if there is dividend, declare. If there is no dividend, forget. Participating, they have a right to participate in meeting. Non-participating, that does not have a right to participate in the decision making. Redeemable, okay, the company can buy back or company will buy back that particular shares after a particular period. Irredeemable, once it is issued, it's issued for the lifetime. There is no provision for buyback. Convertible, they have a right to convert their preferences into equity shares. Non-convertible means preference shares remain preference shares. No convertible rights is given to that particular types of shareholders. So are we clear about the types of preference shares? Now the next one, advantages of preference shares. Number one, first advantage, no legal obligation to pay dividend. As per the law or as per the rules or as per the Companies Act, there is no any provision that company have to declare a preference dividend every year. If there is a profit and if company wants to declare, then company can declare. Otherwise, it will be okay. Number two, no redemption obligation except the redeemable preference shares. Okay. Once company issue the preferences, it's remain preference or it's remain with the company for a life period of the company, for a lifetime of the company. There is no any provision that company need to buy back that particular shares except the redeemable preference shares. Okay. Next important, no assets are pledged in a favor of preference shareholders. If you want to, you know, take a loan from the bank, you need to mortgage, you need to plug some assets to get that money. But in case of preference share, no requirement of mortgage or no requirement of plug the assets. Next, enhancing the credit worthiness of the company. As you have a preference shares, it's improve your image or your financial value, and it will help you. It will help the company to get more credit from the bank and other financial institutions. And do not carry voting rights. Okay, all the preference shareholders does not have any voting right. They have a right to participate. Okay, in a participative preference shares, they have a right to participate in the annual general meetings, but that does not have a voting rights. Are we clear about the last one? पार्टिसिपेट करने का राइट है, okay? उनको वोटिंग करने का राइट नहीं. हेलो. Now the next one and last one about the preference share capital. Disadvantages of preference share capital or limitation of preference capital. Expensive source of finance. As compared to equity shares, it is less expensive, but as compared to debt capital, is it more expensive? No legal obligation to pay dividend. If you see here, it is advantages. Now again, it is a limitation. Why? It is limitation because as per the rule, as per the law, there is no any requirement to declare the dividend. But for a one type of preferences, okay, for cumulative preferences, if you are not preferring or if you are not declaring the dividend, your dividend is accumulated for the next year. So in the next year, you need to pay a dividend for the previous year and for the current year. So from that point of view here, no obligation of pay dividend is considered as a liability. Number three, preference for a claim on assets and earning of the firm. Again, they have a preference to get the dividend and to get the repayment of the money at the end of the company at the time of liquidation. But they does not have a preference to claim the assets. Suppose, let's take one example. You have taken a loan from the bank, okay, and you have a mortgage, a machinery, okay. You have a mortgage, a machinery, or you have deposited the documents as a guarantee of machinery in the bank. So when your or companies fail to pay the installment at a time, bank have a right to acquire or to get that particular machinery and sell out the machineries and recover their amount. So it is possible in case of only bank loan. In preference shares, we does not have that types of assets. So it is a limitation. And acquiring voting rights if the companies keep the preference dividend for a certain period. And this is the biggest limitation of preference share, that if company is not declaring the dividend regularly, and that company declaring the or company declining the payment of dividend after a certain periods, okay, maybe for 2 years, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, preference shareholders have a right and they can file a case against the company to pay the dividend to the shareholders. So are we clear about the preferences? They have a preference in getting the dividend and repayment of money at the end of the company at a time of liquidation. Eight types of preferences, advantages and disadvantages. Now the third, debt capital. Okay, write down the title, debt capital. अगर मैं इसको अपनी लैंग्वेज में कहूँ तो इसको कहते हैं उधारी का पैसा, इसको कहते हैं उधारी का पैसा. Title done. So in a debt capital, we have two components, two parts, debenture and long-term loans. Okay, let's understand the debenture. Debenture is an alternative capital to long-term loan. It is a most popular instrument to get the long-term debt capital. Okay, debenture holders are known or are considered as a creditor of the company. Now, see here, debenture and shares both are the same. Okay, if you look at to the certificates, if you look at to the soft copies of the equity share or a debenture, both are the same, but the difference is only main thing, that shares, okay, whether it is equity or whether it is preference, they get a dividend in terms of return. Okay, and that return is not fixed. If there is a profit, then and then they have a return. But the debenture is again that certificate that represent that particular person has invested a particular amount in a company. But here, rate of interest, it means return to a debenture holders is fixed in terms of interest. So only this is the main difference. That's why the equity shares are known as owners, and equity shares and preference shares are known as capital. And here owners capital, part of owners capital, and here debentures are known as debt capital. Okay, it's similar or it's look like as a loan. All the provisions, all the calculations we have for a debenture, it's similar to a calculation of loan, as we have taken a loan from the bank. Here the difference between the debenture and loan is only one, that loan we get only from a one financial institute, and amount of debenture that company received, it is from a different persons. So obligation of the company to pay interest and principal amount. Okay, as you know that every year company need to pay a fixed amount of dividend. Okay, it is more flexible and offer a variety of choice with respect to maturity, interest rate, and repayment and security. As we have different types of preferences, we have different types of debentures. Later on, we will discuss that. Now, the features of the debentures, they are considered as trustee. Okay, they are having a security feature. interest rate, maturity, redemption, and convertible. Let me check the next one. B. Okay. So here mainly we have 7 to 8 types of preference shares. Okay. Let me explain. Sorry. Debenture. As we have a redeemable preference shares, we have a redeemable debenture and irredeemable debentures. You may note down it because it is not there in PPT. One is redeemable. It means company redeem the debenture after a particular number of years. Irredeemable. It's remain for a lifelong. Second type, convertible and non-convertible. In a near future, debentures will be converted into shares, equity share or preference shares, and non-convertible means they does not have a right to convert their debentures into shares. Next one is registered debentures and bearer debenture. Registered debentures means whenever company issue the debentures, company maintain the record, okay, of the debenture holders. If your list or the debenture holder name is there in that company list, it is called as a registered debenture. Okay, all the transactions related to that particular debenture is comes to you. It is about the payment of interest, it is about the maturity, it is about the calculation of interest, everything. Your beer debenture means इसका spelling है BEARRER. Bearer debenture. It means it's like as a currency note. If you have that certificate of debenture, this debenture is yours. If I have that particular debenture, it's debenture of mine. Okay. If I pass on this certificate to my friend, now this honor of that particular debentures is my friend. Are you getting my point? In a registered debentures, only one owner is there, and he or she is registered with the company. In bearer debentures, it does not have a fixed owner. जिसके पास वो सर्टिफिकेट होगा डिबेंचर सर्टिफिकेट वो उसका ओनर. अगर गलती से मुझे मेरे से कहीं गिर गया गुम हो गया और जिसको मिला तो वो उसका हो गया वो डिबेंचर्स उसके. हेलो आर बी क्लियर अबाउट दिस टाइप ऑफ डिविडेंड शेयर्स डिविडेंड कैपिटल. And last one is secure debenture and unsecured debenture. In a secure debenture, there is a security of assets or there is a security of interest rate. But in unsecured debentures, there is no security about the any assets or there is no security about the interest rate or interest. So again, we have 8 types of debentures. I will again repeat shortly. Redeemable, irredeemable, convertible, non-convertible, registered and bearer, secured and unsecured. Now, based on this, we can check the features and characteristics of debenture. Debenture is called as a trustee. Okay, they act as a trustee of the company. Here, trustee of the company means he is a interested or responsible for both the parties, for debenture holders and for company itself. Security, okay, as we have discussed that in a debenture, there is a security of return. Okay, every year you will get the fixed return. If suppose there is 8% debenture means debenture holders will get 8% interest every year in respect of profit or loss. Interest rate, as we have discussed, the rate of interest is fixed for all the types of debentures. So you will get the fixed interest rate. Maturity and redemption, okay, that again depend upon the types of shares. It is redeemable, then it is redeem after a particular year, and if it is irredeemable, then the maturity of the debenture is lifelong. Convertible, again we have discussed just last. Okay, convertible and non-convertible. Here, convertibility means they have a right. If they want to convert, they can convert into share capital. And then if they does not have want to convert, then there is no issue. Okay. Then after the second part, okay, I don't think so. The long-term loans or term loans are needed or necessary to explain. Okay, we have generally two types of loan. Okay, and this loan is given by the bank and financial institute. A financial institute, cooperative societies, other institutes, or investment companies are considered as other financial institutes. We have two types of loan: long-term loans and short-term loan. If the loan is more than 1 year and less than 10 years, then it is considered as long-term loan. And if we have taken a loan or a company has taken a loan for less than 1 year, then it is known as a short-term loan. Are we clear about this two one? अब लोन के बारे में मुझे आपको ज्यादा बताने की कोई रिक्वायरमेंट है नहीं, आपको पता ही है. Features of term loan: currency. Okay, you will get the money in the currency notes. Okay, that is for 100 or 500 or 2000. There is a security, you need to provide a security to the bank. Interest payment and principal repayment, it means payment of installment after a fixed period. It may a monthly, it may a quarterly, but it may a annual. You need to pay the installment. Okay. Next one, advantages of debt capital. Interest on a debt capital is tax deductible. It means it is tax free. No dilution of control because they does not have a voting right. They does not have a participative right. Okay. Maturity of debt insurance. As you know that each and every loan have one maturity date. That is for 1 year. That is for 6 months, or that is for 5 years, or that is for 10 years. Cost of debt is very low as compared to other securities. As we have discussed in the discussion of equity capital, the cost of debt is very low as compared to equity and preferential. And debenture holders are not entitled to vote. Okay, debenture holders does not have voting right. Limitation. Okay, the first and most important limitation: fixed interest and principal repayment obligation. Irrespective of profit or loss, company need to pay the fixed interest every year. So this is the limitation. And at the end of the period, company also need to pay a principal amount to the debenture holders or to the bank or financial institutions. It's increase the financial leverage. Okay, that we will discuss at the end of the chapter. What do you mean by finance leverage and what do you mean by other leverage? So ultimately, it increases the financial leverage. Limit the borrowing firm's financial flexibility. Okay, once you have taken a loan from the bank, now you need to repay that loan, and then after you are eligible to get the second loan, other loan. Okay, that's why it is a limitation. First, you need to pay the first loan. अगर मैंने home loan लिया है तो I need to pay a home loan. Then after again I apply for the second time home loan or for other personal loans and other loans. If I have two different banks, I can get the two different loans. One for a home loan and second for a vehicle loan. But from the same bank, it is difficult to get that particular loan. And real cost of debt will be greater than expected. Okay. Generally, if you see that there is a 5% interest rate, but if you calculate the overall cost will be higher than 5%. Some of legal procedures, some of the documents requirement, your time, your efforts, okay, and your values is also there with the bank. So are we clear about debt capital? In a debt capital, we have two debenture and term loans. Debentures means similar to the equity shares, but they have a return like interest. Fixed return is there. Two types of debentures we have discussed, and then after term loan, short term and long term loan, advantages and disadvantages. Now the last point, internal sources. We have two internal sources. Number one is return earning and number two is depreciation. Your return earning means a part of profit which is not distributed among the shareholders as a dividend, but which is reinvested in the business. It is called as a retained earning. Suppose company has earned a profit of 5 lakh rupees after paying all the expenses and after paying the tax. So profit after tax is 5 lakh rupees. Out of that 5 lakh rupees, company has declared a dividend for rupees 2 lakh and remaining 3 lakhs is with the company. So this 3 lakh will be reinvested in the company and it is called as a retained earning. So ultimately, your profit after tax is divided in two parts. Part 1 dividend and part 2 retained earning. Dividend means distribution of profit among the shareholders and part 2 retained earning means reinvestment of profit in the business. And depreciation. As you know that every year company need to charge the depreciation on a particular fixed assets. And when the company charge the depreciation, it is considered as an expense for the company, expenditure. But see here, when we are charging the depreciation, is there any case transaction? Everyone, is there any case transaction? जब भी कोई कंपनी डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ज करती है तो क्या वहाँ पे कोई केस इनफ्लो या केस आउटफ्लो होता है? I company has charged 50% depreciation on machinery, so 50,000 case outflow is there. Like this, ऐसा कुछ होता है? No. Okay. It's very simple. Depreciation is a known case expense. So as you are debiting that expense in the profit and loss account, but you are not transferring any case amount to any particular account. So that's why the amount of depreciation is a one type of investment. Okay, one type of reserve that company has maintained. Or in the other language, if I say, okay, company has purchased the assets. That assets may operate for the next 10 years. So after completion of 10 years, company need to purchase a new machine, new asset. So for that company need money. So it is difficult to get that particular money in a single year. So from the starting of the first year for the next 5 years, company acquire or company uh, create a reserve for a 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. Suppose the new machinery will be available at 10 lakh rupees. So every year, company transfer 1 lakh rupees from profit to that particular account, and that particular account is known as a debenture, a depreciation reserve account. Depreciation reserve account. So there are two aspects that you need to understand. Number one, depreciation is not case expense as we are debiting it to profit and loss account, but there is no any case outflow. This is one. Okay. And number two, after a particular period, your machineries, plants, factories will expire. Expired in the sense they are not in a position or we can't use that for a further production process. So we need to replace this. For the replacement, we require money. So from the starting, we are creating reserve for the same. Okay, that's all. This is from my side about the part 1 of unit 2. So there are four sources: equity share, preference share, debt capital, and internal sources. So are we clear about this one? If you have any doubt, any queries, any question, please share here. Okay. If no queries and no question, please listen carefully. From the next class, we'll go for the next uh, part of the unit.